Hi guys, welcome to the Vet Classroom. In this video we are working from C2 for A-level Maths, the textbook by Pearson. We are doing chapter 1, exercise 1b, question 1a and b. This is where you divide a polynomial to get a quotient and a factor. So in order for us to prove that this x plus 1, the bracket, is in fact a factor of this whole polynomial, we need to divide it into one another. So we are going to start by rewriting this in the form of x to the power of 3 plus 6x squared plus 8x plus 3. It is really important to know that when we divide a polynomial, poly meaning more than one indice and bigger than 2, when we divide a polynomial, they have to go down in order. You can't skip an index, so they have to read 3, 2, 1, and then the 0, the x to the power of 0, which is 1, which we don't write. If there's a x2 missing, you have to put in a 0x squared. Okay, so just make sure that your indices are decreasing 3, 2, 1 without skipping a number. And then we rewrite it in the form of long division, just like you would in primary school. Now, this works like a good-bad relationship with your boyfriend or girlfriend. When we're going up, we're going to ignore some things, and when we go down, we are not going to ignore them anymore. So our first step would be to look at this first term of x3, and we are going to divide the x with it. We are going to ignore the plus 1. So x to the power of 3 divided by x is x squared. Now we can't ignore the plus 1. So we're going to say x squared times x is x to the power of 3. X squared plus times 1 is plus x squared. Right. Then we need to subtract this. So when we subtract this one, we change the signs. So x to the power of 3 minus x to the power of 3 is 0. And then 6x squared minus 1x squared is 5x squared. We then look at this plus 8x, and we're going to bring that down right over there. Okay? Again, we're going to ignore the plus 1 now when we go back. 5x squared divided by x gives us plus 5x. 5x times x is 5x squared, and 5x times 1 is 5x. Right? We are going to subtract, and when we subtract, we change this sign as well as that sign. 5x squared minus 5x squared is 0, and 8x minus 5x gives us 3x. We are not done yet. We've got a plus 3. That plus 3 comes all the way down here to a plus 3. And again, like the good-bad relationship, we're going to ignore the plus 1 now. So 3x divided by x is simply plus 3. 3 times x gives us 3x, plus 3 times plus 1 gives us plus 3. We are going to subtract it. When we subtract it, we change the signs. 3x minus 3x is 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. And because this answer is 0, we now know that x plus 1 is indeed a factor of this polynomial, that polynomial, and that is called the quotient. It is really important to know that the terminology with this part is called the quotient, right? Whereas to this x plus 1 will always be referred to as a factor, and not a factor of the quotient, but a factor of the polynomial. And this is the polynomial, right? The polynomial. If you have to rewrite this, you would say the polynomial would be equal to the quotient the quotient times the factor. Times the factor. This would be a little rule that you can always apply. Oh my goodness. Can always apply. The polynomial would be equal to the quotient times the factor. Okay, moving on to number B. We are going to do exactly the same. We are going to rewrite it in a divisible form. So we're going to say our polynomial goes in there, x cubed plus, remember that they have to go down in size. So 3 to, there's our plus 25x plus 4, divided by x plus 4. We're going to start off with this one. X cubed divided by x is x squared. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times 4x is plus 4x squared. Right, we're going to subtract them. When we subtract them, we change this sign and we change that sign into a negative as well. X cubed minus x cubed is 0. Plus 10x minus 4x is 6x squared. We are going to bring down the plus 25x. 6x squared divided by x gives us plus 6x. 6x times x gives us 6x squared. 6x squared times 4 is 24x. We need to subtract it, so we're going to change that to a negative, and that becomes a negative as well. Don't forget to change the second sign. 6x squared minus 6x squared is 0. 25x minus 24x is simply 1x. Right, we bring down the last constant number, the 4. X divided by x is 1. And 1 times x is x. 1 times 4 is 4. When we need to subtract, we need to change the signs. And this will work out perfectly as well. X minus x is 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. So we know that we've got our polynomial, which is that whole thing there. And this is our quotient. That's the quotient. And this is the factor. And that concludes Chapter 1, Exercise 1b, Question 1, A and B.